People ask me if I think that racism is funny, to which I always reply, nobody takes race more seriously than me. Launders here, Boxer Betting Club CEO. Check us out, boxermovement.club, for the new release, and I'm sure that Rivalry are going to love to be associated with this video. But shout out to my sponsors, man, for real. They let me do everything that I want, okay, on YouTube. Rivalry put together Launders Land for us, which is an amazing community event. Great people there, funny, creative team. And so obviously we just having fun with it. All right. And shout out to A-Zone too. They also, no one gives me shit. They both let me do whatever I want. And I value that more than anything else. You know how I like to get silly around here. We like to get a little silly, don't we, guys? So check this video out, okay? After you go to boxermovement.club. Oh, by the way, free shipping to Canada. Free shipping to Canada. Canadians rejoice. Racism is in full swing. Free shipping to Canada. We sorted it out for y'all. Okay, go check it out. Okay, and hats on the store. Okay, so it's season end, and as promised, we're here to make a recap of season 1 of CS2. An amazing season. We have Stewie winning Dallas. We have Navi winning a second major. We have Alexi winning a major. We have all of these crazy storylines that have taken place. FaZe nearly having an era, but getting second place finishes at all these events. Mao's coming up to #1 team for the first time in their organization's history. What else has happened? Mongols show themselves as the most dominant Asian team in so long, if ever, and then end up winning an A-tier event, Yala, but still an impressive win nonetheless. And I think that's a great place to start. Okay, so here we are to rate the teams, not based on where they're at on HLTV or the Valve ranking, but instead, how successful and how racist were these teams, okay? And how I'm going to define racism, all right, in this video is, do these teams speak the same language that is not English unless they are, what's the word? From the Commonwealth, okay? So Australia, Canada, America, the UK, all right? International teams speak English, but unless they're North American or from the UK or Australia, they're not racist if they're European speaking English, okay? That's what we're looking for. We're looking for every country to have a team, or every region to have a team where they're speaking the same language. So that's the loose definition for it. We're giving bonus points for being racist, and we're taking away points for going international. Okay, that's what we're trying to accomplish here. Okay, because we have some fantastic levels of racism this season. I gotta say, it's been a really. Why don't we go in order? Okay, so first of all, arguably the winner of the season. Okay, Team Spirit. They were able to win both the Blast Spring Final, and we're talking about 2 big tournament wins in the Blast Spring Final in London, and then also Katowice, maybe the craziest tournament run of all time by Donk. Spirit does that, and they're the only team in that top 10 at all who have won 2 S-tier events, and they won the Bet Boom Dacha. Oh wait, actually, they lost to Mao's at Bet Boom Dacha 3-0 in the grand finals. That actually brings us to Mao's. Spirit's got to be an S-tier team. They got to be an S-tier team. Russian-speaking team that have won 2 massive events. Mao's Sports are an international lineup, and I'm gonna say something, okay? There are only 2 teams right now that I think can justify going international. Mao's and FaZe, and we're gonna make this list to prove it, okay? Everybody else is a sucker. They're lacking. Okay, so there's a special place for teams like Mao's and FaZe. Damn them for winning so much. Okay, these 2 international rosters are so unbelievably good, and I think they actually justify going international. But damn them, they're trying to ruin our project of getting every team to have 5 players from their region on the roster, and these guys are showing us and trying to prove to us that no, you need to go and buy talent from every different country, okay? We need to put the cultural differences aside, spend the money, fly them in, screw all that, okay? But anyway, Mao's and FaZe, this is a D rating, okay, on the racism tier list because they're doing so well. No, hold on, I've got an idea. No, I've got an idea. Okay, these guys are justifying it because they're doing so well. But now we're going to talk about Big Clan. And unfortunately, B is for Big Clan. This has been a very disappointing. This is the sad part because Big decide to go full German. They go full German, but then they don't do anything. Unfortunately, they peak in their first event of the year at the Blast groups. Doesn't even turn into anything. They don't have a good season overall. We saw some great rounds out of JDC and they're come up a little bit, but Big, B is for Big because they've been a very disappointing attempt at becoming. It's Berlin International Gaming. they've got the, they had the God, they cut God B, got to give negative points for that as well. Then they have Taps, and they have the sort of like, they are the team of Germany to have the best lineup possible, but they aren't making it work, so unfortunately can't love them off that much. Now when it comes to Astralis, unfortunately, I've got to say that this might be another B. This might be a B plus type of situation, so why don't we put them ahead of Big right now, because they are better than Big. But what's the point of not even coming second place? This is a problem with Astralis right now, is you can't make a roster move for this lineup. They're full Danish. We love that. They're full Danish, but they took a PR risk by grabbing Stabby to bring him onto the team after they stabbied Cadian. And now they have a team that, with Bro and how they've actually look like they've improved with Device as the IGL, now need to prove that works. But they really didn't do it. They kind of had another chance here at the Blast Spring Finals. They didn't do it again. So it's hard for me to say that they might be an A tier. We can maybe move them around after, okay? They're not quite Big level. Big really suffered this season. Okay, now we're talking about complexity. We got 3 Americans on complexity. No, sorry, we got 4 Americans on complexity. We have Floppy, Grim, Elige, and Halzerk, okay? This is quite an American lineup, all right? I gotta say, but that's actually the reason. Unfortunately, the standards are pretty high for this team. But they do have JT on the team. They aren't going fully American. I don't even know if that's really possible right now. They can't be on the tier of Astralis. I think that this is a roster that didn't want to make roster moves. For me, extremely disappointing. I think we're wasting Alicia's career. Yeah, we were on the team, and I don't know how to reconcile that. We're wasting Alicia's career here. They don't want to buy new players, and jokes aside, where's my damn Keystone? They want to keep on Halzerk, which he might be a hard guy to replace. Maui made some good points about, how it's actually quite difficult to say that, Halzerk needs to be replaced, but he had some very big choke moments this year. And, again, it's, I think, one of those situations where the stat says one thing, and he's had some good games, but he's fallen off in some very, very important ones. So I don't know how to deal with that, man. But they're ahead of Big, but they actually might be underneath Astralis. Maybe that's not even fair because Astralis was slightly better players. But in that case, I can't put Astralis in A tier, I don't think. But they did win their first LAN, though. They did win their first LAN in 14 years. Yeehaw. Okay, Falcons. All right, Vitality. This is a team that's international, but we're splitting it. So it's sort of like it's a French org. It has Zywoo, it has Apex. Then on the other hand, it has Spinks, and it has Flamesy and Mezzy. It just rounds it out. Mezzy, all of a sudden, Mezzy, just from the UK, the tier 1 representation. And as a racist, that's something that makes me happy, is having like that little bit of representation. But this obviously, how can I say that when it's like a clearly very international team? There's no majority here, except for the fact that they have the coach of Xtaz. So I would classify them in a sort of like an international lineup. They're not very racist. They could go for a body, an RPK. They could pull Scream back from Valorant, maybe grab Navera from that Indian team that he's playing on, something like that. They don't want to do that. They don't want to be French. So instead, they're down here, Mouse Sports phase tier, international teams, and unfortunately, they're not even winning as much as these guys. So we're going to put them, they're damn near Falcons level, okay? Really failing to capture, a bigger chunk of the player base. And you know what? They didn't win either. They didn't win an event this season. And yes, they only had the 2 French guys, and they were French sort of in spirit when it came to Paris. But that only makes this season more disappointing. So not as racist as Big, not as winning as anybody, because they didn't win anything. So somehow Vitality made it into the C tier. Now we've got FlyQuest, which I just want to give FlyQuest some special credit as an organization for sort of like trying to save Australia here, which is great. Love to have them. Their branding's been great. They've had some good presence on social media. I'm a big fan. They're just not a very good team yet, and Australia has obviously never been that strong of a region, but I'm cheering for them big time. I'm cheering for Big as well, but I think they're very comfortably in Big tier right now, unfortunately. Not really doing that much. Kind of disappointing in some places. Kind of have a team that should be doing a little bit more, even though can be doing probably not that much more. But listen, man, again, when we talk about teams like Mongols, okay, coming up, let me just throw this in S tier. This is a good transition. Talking about 2 teams that play in the Asian RMR. Mongols are so incredible. They're literally destroying. Like, they're a team that comes out of nowhere. I say this again, they remind me of Armada in Super Smash Bros. Melee. Grinding over in Sweden versus bots, come to America, beat Mango. Mongols have every excuse to just be an average team, but instead they're an overachieving Asian team from a region and a country, specifically Mongolia, and all 5 from Mongolia, by the way. All 5 from Mongolia. Extra points for that. Extra motherfucking points for that, okay? This is the story of the year in terms of racism, for sure. This is the best thing to come out of Asia in quite some time, and this is ever, maybe, honestly. Somehow. This is a bigger deal than Tyloo, to be honest, in terms of what they've actually accomplished this year internationally. This has been quite a great story, okay? And the one piece of competition that they've got, in my opinion, is 9Z, okay? Now, 9Z is average consistency. I can't put them ahead of Spirit. They're just a little bit too many countries going on. Argentinian org, I think they got Chile. They got a few things going on, and I had them off top. Hold on one second. I remember when I was casting these guys, and I had to remember everybody, because they've got basically representation from a few countries where no other team basically has anybody from there. So we got Chile, we've got obviously Martinez from Spain. That's a crazy transplant, by the way. Europe to South America. That's pretty great to see. Then Waso Peak is Chilean, and we have Buddha is the one Argentinian, I believe, on the team. DGT is Uruguay. That's the one I forgot. Uruguay for both DGT and for Max. Okay, so Uruguay for both DGT and Max. And so this is interestingly, even though there's somewhat like, they're like multinational within South America, still speaking the same language, still want to give them almost full credit here in the same way I would do Canadian American, something like that. Okay, you know what I mean? Like I'm loving that. So this team, they took down 3 S-tier teams to make it to Dallas semifinals. Incredible run. And obviously we know I'm the official 9Z caster. Whenever I'm casting Max, when I was used to be casting Tri, me and Connor, we get the best runs out of them. And man, they needed us in that semifinal. They didn't have us to cast it. That's why they didn't get farther. But they're S-tier for me. They're S-tier for me. They're leading the race right now, okay? So, all right, now we go down to Ninjas in Pajamas. We're talking about, this is LARPing as racism. I take this very seriously as well. This is a team that is only pretending to be racist, but the way they've done this is it's very, very, very salacious, okay? I don't know if that's the right word. They have sandwiched 3 Swedes in between in Opper and in IGL, the 2 most important roles on the team, and then they just say, we're majority Swede, but the 2 most important roles on the team are not Swedish one bit, okay? So they can be like, we're Swedish on HLTV. They're not. They're LARPing. Don't fall for the racism, okay? These guys are not racist, okay? They're not racist. Do not fall for it. NIP are going to, for that reason, just be at the tippity top, because at least they've got a majority, even though it's a sneaky Kappa majority here. And they obviously also haven't won anything, but can't put them below the actual international, scum. You know what I mean? So, okay, Virtus Pro, unfortunately, very disappointing. We got to see more of them this season, right? We got to see more of them. We got them showing us some interesting stuff with Electronic coming onto the team, remaking the system. They're sticking to their guns in terms of like who they are as a lineup. Obviously, another Russian-speaking org. They're sticking to it. They're never going to go international, right? They never have been, never will. So I'm thinking that Virtus Pro, I want to put them above Complexity because I've been less disappointed in them, but I've been pretty disappointed in them. Like, this is kind of disappointment tier. Disappointment, nice try race. They're ahead of Complexity in terms of how many they've got. Right? Am I putting Complexity too high when they're not even truly three Americans? Are they LARPing? Is Halzerg sneaking in? Do I have to put them in B? Because they're not even fully I'm putting them top B. They're upper B, okay? And you know who is going to be, one of the biggest disappointments of the season here. We got Saw. Okay, Saw, dude, this is so sad because Saw are a team that qualified directly to the spring final. But when they qualified, they had no chance after it started of actually getting anywhere, okay? This is a team, we're going to go back to Portugal with Blast, and Saw are the team that we're going to expect to, really capture the fan base over there. We hope they're in good shape. And we saw what they could do qualifying into the major, and then they choked versus Pain, and then they just choked and choked and choked. And then after that, they never recovered. Couldn't be the good bad teams online, couldn't recover back at the brass ring final. So unfortunately, underperforming team that at least is putting their best foot forward, at least did more exciting things than all the teams before them in terms of expectations, and at least are also committing to their region really well. Bet Boom are, I think, just very disappointing, but at least, you know, and then like on like they're keeping it together as countrymen here. So, but like, don't know where to put them. Nothing really exciting to say. And also they're competing against other teams in their region, right? Like they got Virtus Pro, they got Spirit. Like there's just so many like good Russian players right now. It's not like we need, you know, so if they're not going to be up there with them, then they fall out of relevancy, which is another part of this, right? Like FlyQuest, you care about them more because they're like all Australian doing it together. And if there's no other teams to compete with, then they suck up sort of all that energy, and it's like, it means a lot. So like Big don't have to win as much because they're all German. If they do win something, it's very special because they have the handicap of having to all wear lederhosen. So for Team Shui over here, it's special because they get together, but they do also have to achieve something. Bet Boom sort of, especially they get together, they don't achieve anything. So there's not much to say. M80 is freaking weird, man, because they got Slacks, they got Rec, they got Swisher, and so in some ways we're cheering for them as North Americans because we're holding, you know, that backpack meme where the kid has the backpack and it's like holding on by a thread, like just let it go. Like they're barely sort of North American, and they've done some interesting stuff, and they just sold mobs, which really sucks. So they're not very racist, but they have been kind of exciting. And I just wouldn't want to put them down there with the truly international teams, but I think maybe just like ahead of NIP. And they're not, they're just super international. Like Sin is the IGL. Furia, most disappointing. This is the only team that I'm going to put in an international. I can't put them below Bet Boom. No, that's crazy, right? No, it just has to be in B. I mean, it can't be. That's just too much disrespect, even for someone like me who wakes up extra early just to hate Furia. At least they're Brazilian, even though they made a statement. Even though their CEO made a statement that said that they don't believe that they could win another major with a Brazilian line. Are you kidding me? That's like the least racist thing that I've ever heard. Get out of here. Get the hell out of here. MIBR can take your place. Actually, this is a team that actually won something this year. Go off, MIBR. Team Liquid are, well, they're Canadian when they win, they're Cadian when they lose, and unfortunately, now they've cut him too and haven't done anything. The best part about this roster is that the two Canadians, so personally makes me happy, isn't really an objective thing about them. The two Canadians on this team are the best parts of the lineup. Yes, unfortunately, even though they're only Canadian representation, they're both playing very well in Tier 1. I want to say that somehow they're like still a North American hope or an America's hope in some weird way. I want to put them above Saw, but like, have they even done, they even qualified to the major? Like, it can't be even above Complexity. What's something exciting that they did besides forming? Ooh, I hate to say that. They can't even beat MIBR in that situation. They're barely just above Big, I guess, for being more exciting to watch, even though they're not as racist. This is like pretty bad, man. I don't know if I can put them up here even. But like two Canadians, I'm Canadian. Like, when would a racist tier list ever be objective, right? That wouldn't make sense either. So Eternal Fire, the best part about them, best Turkish lineup that we've ever seen sort of play, like most exciting, right? That we're like cheering for at the same time. Also had a kind of like a Saw start to the year with the exciting major. They were in top 10. They're ahead of Complexity in the ranking. That's changed up. They're definitely falling off a little bit. Very racist, very awesome. You know what I mean? So I'm hyped about that. Heroic, obviously, just another, well, a team that just got gutted out of their 3 Danish players trying to get it together, didn't win much. Exciting up until the major, then they really fell off a cliff. Unfortunately, I think they're going down in Falcons tier, just like a super underperforming international lineup. Nothing to speak of in terms of accomplishments. Can NIP even beat? No, NIP have 3. Can M80? I don't know. I'm just biased towards M80 because they're kind of our hope. All right. So that's, yeah, that's kind of, well, it can't be below Falcons. Nothing's below Falcons, man. All right. So Navi, Finland won the major. It felt that was something special. No, like only Finnish people paying attention to that, right? But at the same time, that like means a lot to Finland. Navi are an this is a firmly international lineup, though. They've literally made the moves to go international and start speaking English. That's something you just never want to do, guys. Never speak English. Nothing's ever gonna come out of an English man's mouth that made much sense. So, okay. Navi are an international team that won the major, that are speaking English. They can't be below Furia. They're not as racist as a tier above. They are an international team. They are the best of the worst in that sense. G2, I thought they were going for the Balkan Dream when they picked up Nexa, and then they went back on that racism. So, like, fun as it is to watch Monacy play, this is a firmly international team. They had the Dallas run, though. G2, G-Stew. That instantly puts them up here in S tier because G2 got Stewie literally for the sake of racism, just to pull off the most miraculous run in the calendar, the most miraculous tournament run since 2018 when Flesha won Katowice after taking his massive break. They picked up Stewie for Dallas. Stewie just went on Maui's stream and said he didn't even know who Mondesi was. They took a risk to pick up Stewie because he was American, okay? And then they came through and won the whole event because of racism alone. Racism alone. So I gotta say that they might be the team of the season just for that one move. That's insane. And randomly here, Eyeballers, shout out to Eyeballers for being properly Swedish. Metasport, I had an image of them, but they're ranked 71. I think Eyeballers are ranked 69, sex number. Swedish, and I just love that. They're trying to do it the Swedish way and revive an old brand, and JW's on this team and they're not winning much, but they're trying to keep hope alive 100%. So I'm just going to, because they didn't really perform or anything like that, going to throw them in B, just behind Bet Boom. And that's it. So we got this, the racism tier list here for the season. And I think this is just basically indisputable at this point, to be honest. This is a mixture of amazing runs, tournament wins, sticking to your region, sticking to your guns, disappointing teams, mixed teams that achieved a lot, and the Falcons and heroic sort of tier where you're international and you don't win anything. Okay, so that's it. Racism is well and alive in Counter-Strike. We had a great season overall as racist. I think teams like Mongol, Spirit, 9Z, G-Stu, and so on have shown us that there is a way to be successful, and the team of the season is Spirit, who end as an S-tier racist team for the season. So, I mean, I don't know what else there is to say. I think we're up. I think it's been a great season. I think we're up. And I want to believe that teams like Big decided to go full German because of this impact that we've had, okay, on the reclaiming of racism to bring it back for the good of the scene, okay? So yeah, appreciate you guys. You guys have any disputes, any teams you want to add, anything you want to change, take it up with yourselves, because I don't give a shit. No, I'm just kidding. I actually do want to hear it. Let me know who you've got as the most racist team. What's your argument? And cheers to great first season of CS2. You knocked it out of the park, Counter-Strike. You really did it.